All right, this is a quick tutorial on how to use the new Google Sheets format for the NISCA National Dual Meet PowerPoint program. We've previously done this through Microsoft Excel files. Given how everything's becoming more and more web-based, we figured a move to Google Sheets might be a little easier and a little more manageable for everybody. So we've kind of updated things, try to make things as simple as possible when using this form. And here we go. So yeah, you're going to have access to a link off of NISCA's website, and the link's going to take you to a page that looks like this. Now, if you don't get taken to a page that looks like this, where it's asking you to make a copy of the document, you might not have a Google account. You might need to sign into a Google account or just create one. Even if you use a different email than Gmail, you can still create a Google account that allows you to have access to Google Sheets. So I would highly recommend doing that. It's just going to make your life a lot easier with this. Um, so here we go. Once you get kind of logged in or have a Google account already, it's going to bring you to the screen. It's going to ask you to make a copy. Right now, I just want you to notice we're going to work with the boys file. I'll just kind of run through this. It's the same for the girls. If you click on the girls link, you'll see the same thing just for girls. So we're going to click make a copy. And that's going to bring us into the file that you're going to be using to make your entry. All right, now you can go up to the top here, and what I would recommend you do is rename it and just call it something like whatever your high school name is. So I'm just going to call this General High School, all right, and then put boys. And just there you have, now you have your file name saved. That's going to help the PowerPoint chair identify quickly what school you're from when you submit this. All right, now what I want you to notice on the sheet here, there are three tabs. You have team info at the bottom. You have boys roster. If you click on boys roster, that's where you're going to enter in your names. And then you have boys entry. That's where you're going to enter in your times. What I want you to notice right now is you got to do it in the order of those three tabs. You're going to do everything on the sheet in the order of what you see on the tab. You're going to start with your team info, then you're going to put your roster in, and then you will do your entries. You'll notice at the top of the entry sheet that there's a big X in the PowerPoints box, and that will stay there if you don't do these in the correct order. So please make sure you start with team info and get everything organized as you move from left to right. So simple as moving from, team info, boys roster, boys entry. And that's the order you will always do. So here we go. Let's just start. I'm just going to type in, we're going to call ourselves General High School. All right. And we're going to be in some town. All right. And we'll be, pick a state. All right. I'll do like Nevada or something like that. Pick an enrollment. Let's say 1,000 students, school type. You're going to use these drop down menus. So I'll say public, school gender. Let's go co-ed, and school altitude. Let's go less than 3,000 feet. Most schools are probably going to be less than 3,000 feet. Only a handful of schools ever really have an altitude adjustment factor, and that's built into this sheet now. You don't have to worry about figuring out your points. This sheet will figure that out. But for you, if you're not sure what your altitude is for your school, just Google your town and then type in what's the altitude where I live, and it'll tell you or where your school is. So less than 3,000 feet is what most schools are. Then just put in coach's name. So I was going to say Coach A. All right, swimmer coach address, and then 123 Main Street. Just getting all these basic info in. I'm just going to call her, say town. All right. Again, pick a state, and 12345 for the zip code. Coach phone 12345678890. All right. There's a phone number. Whoop, too many digits. 12345678890. All right. And then email. I don't know. Again, coach@gmail.com or something like that. All right. So you have all the information entered in. The second for your coach and school information. The second thing you want to do now is you got to type in your roster. So we're going to go to the roster tab. All right, and you're just going to enter in three things. You're going to type in the first name, the last name, and then pick the grade level for the athlete. So again, just to keep things simple here, I'm just going to do swimmer A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. All right, and you can put in as many athletes as you think you're going to need. I'm just going to call these swimmers and just copy this down. I don't have to keep making up names here. So we'll just have A swimmer through H swimmer. And, if you need more names, you type them in. Then pick their grades. So I'm just going to kind of randomly assign these and pick some grades here for your athletes. And make sure you get them, obviously accurate to your actual roster when you're typing that in, but you would do that all right here. What I want you to also notice, new addition to the form, is we now have kind of this section which computes how many total events each swimmer is in or diver. That's going to help you out big time with any errors that might come up on the sheet if you have somebody in too many things. So that will activate itself. You don't need to type that. That's not something you have to keep track of. The sheet will do it for you. So you'll type the names in here using this form. All right. And then once you've done that, you've got your team info in, you've got your roster in. Now it's time to go to the entry file. All right, you'll notice that on the entry file, all that coach information and school information has been copied over. All right, so things like the name of the high school, the coach name, the email, and the phone number, that shows up there. And then over here, you'll see the enrollment, what type of school, the class that you'll be for NISCA's organization of how they're going to rank the schools. All right, and that's all based on enrollment. And then you'll have your altitude adjustment in there if needed. So that'll highlight in pink if there is an altitude adjustment. Otherwise, when you're less than 3,000, there's no altitude adjustment. Now, on the actual form itself, this is crucial. All the directions are over here, and you can kind of read through these, but this is the same as it was when we did the Excel spreadsheet. There are only two things that you ever are going to modify. You're going to modify the names by using the drop-down menu, and you're going to type the time in. Don't touch any other cells. If you start playing around with like the point cell and you hand type a number in, you're going to screw up the whole file. Nothing's going to compute. Don't touch this points. All you're touching, the only thing you're ever going to work with are the times. You'll type in your times and then the names of your athletes. Okay, and that's all you have to do. If you do anything else other than that, your form might not compute, and then you're going to run the problems. You're going to be starting this whole process over again. All right. The undo button is your best friend. If you do happen, like if I happen, like, whoops, I typed in 123 points, even though it updates up there, you just crush the formula. So no matter what time you type in, if your kids do break a national record and go 127 in the medley relay, the PowerPoints aren't changing because you just screwed up the formula. All right. So you don't want to do that. So hit undo, and then make sure that formula shows back up in the box up there. You know you didn't screw anything up. So don't mess around with that. You want to make sure the formulas always stay. All right. They're meant to be there. So you don't want to mess with that. Okay. You only change the name of the athlete and the time. All right, now let's put together just like a medley, for example, here, and let's just do the first four swimmers: swimmer A, swimmer B, swimmer C, and swimmer D. So you've got them in there. All right, I'm going to come over here to the time, and let's just type in something like 133.89. Let's say that was your time, and you'll see 414 points show up automatically. That's why you don't need to type the score in this. The form will do it for you. All right, and then I'm just going to move down to the next relay and start typing them in. Now, I want to call your attention to something. A lot of times when teams submit their forms, an error that we catch is they will put the same swimmer in multiple relays. You cannot do that. All right, this form will now kill that if that happens. So if I put swimmer A in the second relay here, you're going to see an error show up, and it's going to eliminate the PowerPoint score, and it won't let you tally those points for that. So you need to fix that. All right, that's a problem. So you want to make sure you get that adjusted. So don't use swimmer A. So if I change it and say, okay, I got to start with swimmer E. All right, swimmer F, swimmer G, and swimmer H. All right, you're going to make sure you just get that adjusted, then put their relay time in. So I don't know, just 142.36, they would score 300 points. So you'll see the total score tally up at the top of the sheet. You're just going to let that happen. You don't need to keep track of that. Again, all you're doing is typing in the names of the athlete or drop down from the drop down menu and then typing in the time. The sheet will do the rest. All right, a couple other things to be aware of when you're doing this. If you have a diver, I'm just going to pick one of those. We'll do swimmer A. With the divers, you'll notice a second drop down here. That's to choose how many dives they're doing, whether it's 6 or 11. So you always have the option to put a 6 or an 11 dive score in. So you're going to do that. And then when you type the score in, you don't need to put in the decimal point. You just want to type in the total score. So let's say a diver had a score of like 300.26. You would just type in 30026. You don't need to type in the decimal point. It'll do it for you. And then the PowerPoints will show up. If you have a score that ends in like double zeros, like 200.00, just type it in 200.00 and bam, you get that. And the directions for this are over here on the right side of the screen. You should always be able to see that there. All right, same thing if it ends in a zero, 300.20. Just you don't want to type in a decimal point, and that's what error is going to happen if you do that. So you just do 30020, and then the score will adjust. So don't type in decimal points. The same is also true for entering in the times. If I go back to the relays here, don't put the colons and the decimal points in. Just type in 13389, and then the sheet will format it for you. All right, and this saves you time. It's going to be a lot faster to have to type it in that way. You don't need to worry about typing in all that stuff. So you just put in 14236, and you get your time entered in there. All right, one or two more things here. I'm not going to do the entire sheet. I think you guys can hopefully figure that out when you put your whole lineup in, but a couple other red flags that may occur. So let's say you put a swimmer. Let's look at swimmer A. So right now I have swimmer A in a medley relay. I've got them in diving. Let's say they're going to do the 100 free also. All right, we'll put a time in for them. I don't know, 50.23 or something like that. All right, and then let's say you're going to put him in the 100 backstroke, which should be a red flag. Swimmer A goes in the 100 backstroke. You're going to see up here, uh-oh, the score just got crushed. You got a form error. One or more of your athletes is currently entered in too many events. Check your roster tab to see which athletes are entered in too many events. So what you're going to do, go back to the roster, and you'll see right there highlighted in red is swimmer A's violation. They're in too many individuals. So you got to go back into your form, and you'll see, okay, they're in 4 events, but it gives you like the kind of the sentence of your too many individual events. The max is 2. You got to go back to your form and say, all right, I got swimmer A and too many things going on here. So let's take them out of the 100 back. Maybe we'll put swimmer G in there or something like that. Okay. And now if you go back and check swimmer A, you'll see that nothing's lit up. They've got their 2 individuals, so they're eligible for one more relay if you want to use them there. So if I put swimmer A in a 200 free relay, that's fine. All right, no red flags. They've reached their max number of events now, so they're done for the lineup. All right, and you'll see the score will pop up again. All right, but if you have a swimmer entered in too many events, that score is going to be eliminated. You won't be able to compute your sheet score. So you got to make sure you're playing by the rules there. That no more than 4 events for an athlete, no more than 2 individual events for an athlete. Other than that, that's pretty much it. The last thing that you want to be aware of is once you're finished your form, what you just want to do, the easiest way to kind of then send this to the NISCA PowerPoint share, you'll notice down here the email for the PowerPoint share is right there, powerpoint@niscaonline.org. You're going to want to click that link to set up your email and get that sent. All right. And then once that gets sent, once you get that email activated, you're going to want to share this file. So the way you're going to do that, right, if you're not familiar with Google Sheets, this is a pretty straightforward process. You're going to come up here to this button that says share. You're going to click on that link, and a little window is going to pop up, and it's going to ask you to share this file with whoever. And you want to do one thing that's really important. Go down to here where it says general access. Change it where it says restricted to anyone with the link. Okay, and that's probably the easiest way to do this. And then just copy your link. All right, go into your and you want that. You want to make the viewer when you send the file, just make it the viewer. You can also share it with the actual email address too if you want to do it that way. If you want to share it with the PowerPoint share, you can also do that. But I would more recommend you copying the link, going out to done, and then just going into your Gmail and literally copying the link to your to the PowerPoint share when you send it. So here's our link for our file for this year. All right, and then that way the PowerPoint share can just click on the link, open your file, and then easily access the information they need to get things filed and processed for you guys. I hope you guys help. I hope this helps for you guys who are putting together these files. We appreciate you participating in the program. If you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the PowerPoint share, hopefully they can help you out, or you can also reach out to me as well if you have any questions. All right. Thanks. Have a great day.